Hear ye, hear ye.
You sound so Asian.
I was meant to sound like medieval times. Never mind.
You look medieval.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the FuReel Podcast. That's the only time I'm ever going to do another sort of greeting ever again, man. Here next to me is Gawain, master and founder of Jhung Academy, aka me Faja.
Sitting beside me.
Oh, here we go. Did he remember?
Sitting beside me is a young man who
is Asian.
Asian. You know, one of the things that people, I hear a lot from people describe you.
Okay.
They say, you're really good with kids.
Right.
And I think it's because you've just got such a gentle soul.
Okay.
And you're so kind. So sitting beside me is a gentle and kind human, also known as my eldest son, Jhung Sui.
It's not pronounced Jhung for those who are actually listening. All right?
Jhung.
Yeah.
Jhung Siu.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I say Jhung Sui because that's how Siri addresses you on my phone. When I say, Siri, call Jhung. Sorry, can't find anyone. And eventually I had to work it out what it pronounces your name as.
Yeah.
Or she. I have a female voice. And she says, Jhung Sui. So you're known as Jhung Sui.
Yeah, well, your name on my phone is Father Sue, because it can't register Gawain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It can't say Gawain?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You should try different pronunciations. So try Gawain.
So it's easier when I'm driving just to say, call Father. Calling Father.
Oh.
It's easier that way.
Siri.
Anyway, that was an intro. On the podcast, we talk about what experience whilst we're teaching and practicing Kung Fu Tai Chi and how it benefits our lives in 3 parts to make us whole: the mind, the body, the spirit. FuReel is about passion, it's about culture. It's not just about sharing a Chinese martial art, but it's about sharing the light at the end of my tunnel, and maybe this could be the light at the end of your tunnel, or you can just enjoy some really cool content, and this is FuReel. Okay, so we've got a question from Piers once again. For those who are watching on YouTube, our full episode, we actually recorded his question, him asking it himself. So let's go ahead and listen or watch it, depending what you're doing, and then we can talk about the question. Does that sound good?
Excellent.
Homie.
Okay. Recent discussions on the podcast have brought up the idea of physical training and supplementary training either helping or not helping your martial art practice. And it made me think about how we define success and helping in terms of how we measure something. And I can think of a few different ways that you might measure your martial art practice, how close your technique and performance is to that of your instructor, how you might measure it in speed or strength, sparring effectiveness, competition results, how you feel mentally and emotionally around your training and what you feel you get out of it and it brings to your life. And I'm sure there are other ways I haven't thought of. So it made me really curious to think about, what do you use to measure your training now in your life? Are there some of those that are completely irrelevant, or some of those that you think are more important? And how has that changed over your martial arts experience from being a child? And Sifu, you have a long history with Jhung Academy and all the training, as well as Seeing Sung has it from being very young. So I'd be really interested to hear your reflections on how that's changed over time and how you think people can measure success or helping their martial art.
Cool. So your question's about how do we measure success?
Yeah, because people always, oh, it's working for me or it's not working for me, people say, but you judge how you think something is working for you. If you think it's successful, if you think it helped, then you have to know that it helped somehow.
Right.
If you think it didn't help, then it has to have not worked somehow. So when we say will physical training in this way help my martial art? Well, Help in what way? What do you want to be better at? Do you just want to be able to hit a pad harder? Or do you want to be able to move more like you've been shown? Or do you want to be able to look like you perform better at it? So measurement changes how we judge success, or at least how we're appraising something. And you've talked about appraising it holistically, and the kind of scientific measurement idea of something. And I think the different viewpoints on that really change how we think about whether something would help or not. Because you might say being stronger will help my martial art. Well, that's only if you're measuring it in terms of maybe how much power you can put out. And even then it may or may not, but it's still, the whole question is based around actually how you think something helps or not.
Cool. It's a good question.
Yes, very good question.
Do you want to start answering that?
Well, I still got to think about it a little bit.
Oh, think about as in process the question.
Process the question.
So I interviewed Pierce, and I also needed some clarification. So I asked him afterwards. We just had a conversation about it, and my question was: so, are you asking me how do I gauge whether I'm improving in my training? He goes, yeah, pretty much. And I said, so, but you did say something about how it improves my life. And he goes, well, you know, whatever aspect. So if we were training a particular exercise, how would I measure I'm getting better? If I was training a particular form, how would I measure I'm getting better? And if I was measuring how martial arts practice was affecting me in my life, what would I measure? So, you know, it's quite general, but also very specific at the same time.
Yep.
Good question, though, because I often hear people have this conversation about how they think, how they perceive they're going.
Yeah.
Like even this morning in class, Ricardo saying that he now realizes that he should be focusing on the principles more rather than being attached to doing however many yilus or learning the whole yilu, etc., etc. And we had a conversation about that in class today, just this morning. Measuring, for me, measurement is necessary in our training, but also can be a very vulnerable place to be. And it could be quite risky as well if we start measuring ourselves, particularly if we measure against others.
Yeah.
You know, that's really hard not to do. Like I know that, you know, when we start doing toisao, for example, one of the most common things is that we all compete with ourselves to see how long we can last. But it's not ourselves we're competing with. We always measure ourselves against our partner. So we want to last longer than he or her in a toisao.
Or even the comparison of I'm not strong enough against this person.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you stand
not lasting as long, but
yeah.
I hear often as well, can I go
down that end
because this person's really strong.
Yeah.
And
so even before they even touched hands.
Yes.
Yeah, they already defeated themselves. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So that's a real human trait. I know that I fall in that category. Both being human and also having that trait.
Really? Right.
I was waiting for you to question that. So measuring, I think we have to be very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So if in the times when I'm measuring my ability to do something, then I'm would be best starting with a baseline and saying, I've only ever been able to achieve 10 yilus at one time, and that's my baseline. So I know if I do any less than that in one set consecutively, that I haven't really improved myself.
Yeah,
because I haven't stretched myself beyond that point. So that's a measurement. Comparing how mine looks against someone else's, I think is risky. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Although there's a temptation to do that. For me, it happens all the time. When I think about this year is the 40th year that I've been teaching professionally. I started charging for classes when I was 15.
Yep.
I opened my own club when I was 15, and this is my 55th birthday year. So it's a long time.
Mm.
And then I instantly, like very subconsciously, it pops into my head, and I think about colleagues of mine who have been teaching professionally, whether they're as long or not as long, and I compare success based on things like how many students they have, how many students I have, how much money I perceive them to have, how much money I know I have, and all that sort of stuff. And that's a very dangerous thing, because I find myself starting to dig a hole at that point, and I don't think that's healthy. We shouldn't do that. When Pierce says, well, what about your life? I think that's a really, really relevant question right now, because the world is suffering from the coronavirus at the moment, the effects of the coronavirus. And I had an experience last night at the supermarket. And like last night was a pretty big night, because we had a big day.
Yep.
And we're out at Bentley 360 doing the community engagement classes until late. And I stayed back for a little bit to talk to Yvette and Brett about what's next.
Yep.
And then by the time I got home, it was kids get your brother and sister into bed and all that sort of stuff. And then as soon as I went to bed, I thought, all right, it's 8:30. I better go to the shops and pick up some staple items like bread, milk, rice, stuff like that, and put fuel in the car. Anyway, shops close at 9. So just to put this into perspective for some of the listeners, because our shops here aren't 24 hours. Well, the Woolies in my local only goes till 9 p.m. So I had half an hour to run around the shops and get stuff. When I walked in, I noticed there was a pallet of toilet paper that was delivered and situated at the entrance near the fruit and veg, which is an odd place to put toilet paper, because normally it's down the other end of the supermarket. And we didn't need toilet paper, so I wasn't going to buy any. But I looked at it, and it was like a full pallet. It was still on the timber pallets. They didn't take it off, didn't stack it nicely. It was like, that's the way it came. They unwrapped it with the big Glad wrap that was around it, and just plonked it right there in that open space. And I looked at it, and I could see some people had already taken some. They had big smiles on their faces, and they're walking into checkout. I just kept going around getting our stuff. Anyway, over a 20-minute period, only 20 minutes, I went past it about 3 times.
Yeah.
And each time I went past it, it was getting less and less. Until the very last moment when I was going around the cold food section, right beside the cold food section, there's the aisle where the toilet paper is. The shelves were completely empty. And I thought, wow, this is really crazy. There's no toilet paper. Now, I know we're all hearing about it on the news and stuff like that. But then I also noticed I couldn't buy oat milk, because I only drink oat milk. As a matter of fact, not only is there no oat milk on the shelves, but the tags where the oat milk goes are gone as well.
Yeah.
There's no other milk. All the long life UHT milk, gone.
Right.
All baked beans and canned spaghetti, gone. Rice, no rice. Like, we eat rice, right? Lots of rice. I haven't seen long grain jasmine rice for weeks now. Haven't seen it in the shops. And I typically will always buy Australian rice. Can't see it anywhere. And I thought, wow, this is really crazy. Like, people are really buying lots of stuff. And I could actually feel the urgency and the fear building up in me as I was walking through the shopping centre, the supermarket, feeling like I might miss out. Like, there's this crazy thought came into my head. Oh, what if Marianne didn't buy any toilet paper? I thought we had 2 boxes anyway, because we buy the Who Gives a Crap toilet paper, the recycled stuff. And the thought came into my mind, oh, maybe I should buy 36 just in case. And then I thought, oh, wow, I don't drink rice milk or almond milk, but there's a few of those. Should I buy those too? And then I went down the pasta aisle, and we don't have any pasta at home, so I had to buy some anyway. And I thought, oh, should I buy extra? Oh, look, all the one that we like, Brillia, it's all gone. There's only 2 measly little boxes left floating around in empty shelves. And I could feel this fear building up in me, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. And also I could see around me the people who were shopping were racing to get stuff, and they all had the same stuff, pretty much the same stuff in their trolleys. And I thought, wow, this is crazy, because if I really wanted toilet paper, if I really wanted baked beans and spaghetti, because doomsday is coming and we're all going to be locked in our homes for 3 months at a time, or 40 days and 40 nights, then I could buy it online and the truck could deliver it to our front door. I don't have to buy it off the shelves. I can actually buy it online. But there's this panic going on. And I noticed that rise in me, and when it rose in me, I could feel it, like the panic was around here at the top of my chest. There was like a tightness and a fullness. It was really weird. It was like everything was getting full and it was getting tight at the same time. And because I noticed it, I was able to have that conversation about, well, what do we really need? Are we in danger? How much stuff do we have at home? How does it feel like for everybody else? What about the people that can't afford to buy extra stuff? What's going to happen to them when the shelves are empty and they actually don't have toilet paper, or they don't have food, or they don't have rice, and they can't buy it because it's all sold out? They can't get it early because they don't have spare cash, or they don't have a credit card, or their credit card's maxed out because they're in that cycle, or whatever it happens to be. And I could think, well, actually, I don't need it, right? So I was able to very clearly just buy our essentials, the things that we buy every week, some of them several times a week, like bananas, we buy probably 2-3 times a week, and just leave it at that. I got rice, though, because the only rice that appeared that was Australian rice was medium grain rice. So I thought, all right, it's on special. I asked myself the question, if there wasn't the coronavirus around and there wasn't this fear of everyone being quarantined to their homes for 2 weeks, would I buy this rice anyway? And I thought, yes, I would, because A, it's on special. Well, actually, in this order: A, it's some long rice, which is Australian rice. B, it's 10 kilos. C, it was half price. So, like, I'm Chinese, man. Those 3 things already mean that it's a guaranteed buy. So I bought it. And I guess what I'm saying really, in response to Pierce's question, is I know that my practice is working because I was able to navigate that really difficult feeling at the supermarket last night. Now, for some people, they may not have the same access to the same resources that we do. I think that by nature of people who are following us and listening to us already do have these resources, because they're open to finding out more about being present to self and the process of being present. So for me, that saved me from being at the effect last night of that fear-based buying. Right. So that was confirmation that my daily practice is in action.
Yep.
And helped me navigate really difficult feelings, because it was so hard, man. It was crazy hard not to go into the same panic as everybody else.
Yep.
Because, it's that group mass mentality of people running around. And, after 20 minutes, it was only 20 minutes when I got to the checkout, the pallet of toilet paper was empty. It's like, how can that be? It was 8:30.
I saw a post from Kleenex, the toilet paper brand. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
One of the workers from the factory posted a selfie with all the toilet paper behind him, and he said pretty much, "Don't worry, guys. There's more coming. They're just not on the shelf, but we're producing more in the next 24 hours." So there's actually enough in the factory that's coming. But the shelves is what we see first. They look empty. And there was like millions of rows of toilet paper behind him, up to, factory roofs.
Yeah.
So there was heaps in the photo that he posted. It's crazy.
No, crazy. Absolutely crazy. So for me, that was evident. And then about 1:45 before I went to bed, I was just looking at my messages, and I went into shock because I saw that one of our Ging mowers had passed away. And his older brother, John's older brother, had posted on Facebook saying that he's really sad to share that his younger brother John had passed away Tuesday morning. So this is Wednesday night, and Tuesday, so day before yesterday, he passed away. And we were sitting at a kitchen table because William had gone to our bed because he had a big, he was all snotty and everything, and a massive cough, and then threw up all over the bed, so he couldn't sleep in his bed, and I was cleaning that up and stuff. So Marianne and I were out in the kitchen, and I just went, oh, in shock. And Marianne said, what's the matter? And I said, I can't believe this. And I'm reading the message out to her, and she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, well, I am, but I'm in shock. It's like, how can that be? I only just saw him a few days ago. And she said a couple of times, checking in with me, went to our bedroom, came back out, and said, are you sure you don't need to talk about anything? I said, no, I'm actually okay. I'm processing the sadness. I am just so sad that John is gone. And yesterday in the morning, one of the mums of our Jing mowers who practices out at Bull Creek, her mum passed away, but of old age. And so that was like a double whammy yesterday. And what I noticed was I had the ability to honour myself and both Violet and John, who passed away yesterday, giving them some loving thoughts and acknowledging them, acknowledging my sadness, and being able to process that and let that go to allow myself to sleep. And what I found quite profound with all of that was normally I would have a story around keeping that sadness around, like making, making a deal of. I'm not saying that didn't come out right. So it's not like it's not important, and it's not like I am pretending or distracting myself, pretending that it didn't happen, or distracting myself with other things. But it's actually allowing it to be, honouring it, and not making small or larger than what it is, which then allows me to function in my world. And I find that is actually a very powerful skill to have. That actually is not magical. It's not something that only I have. Everybody has it. But I actually believe that it comes out after we have given enough time to ourselves to be present whilst we are practicing. And it's the practice itself brings our mind, our body, and our spirit to one place. And when I'm in that one place, I have all the tools I need to be able to face the challenge, whatever the challenge is. In this case, it's profound sadness around just that last minute news before going to bed that John had passed away. And the ability I find to be able to process that, and I had no idea that this was going to happen, nor how I was going to respond to it. So this is all very raw and very fresh. But in actual fact, the benefit of daily practice is that I am able to be present to myself and present to the sadness, and yet being able to function. In the past, what my usual pattern would be is that anything that is extreme would affect my entire experience of my day or days thereafter. And then it affects everything. So it washes over like paint. But in this case, I'm very surprised. It's been a huge surprise how I've processed what's gone on just in the last 24 hours. Well, it's not even 24 hours. Tonight will be 24 hours. So more evidence for me that what I'm doing is working for me, and perhaps it'll work for others as well.
Is that all you want to say?
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, I guess for me it's more less of a kind of a serious note, coronavirus or death. But I noticed yesterday with our busy day, I didn't get as much practice as I needed. But I was also very tired and sore from a workshop that we did, a line dance, which we'll talk about in a moment. And I noticed when I went to bed, I couldn't get to sleep for ages. My mind was racing, my body was full of energy. And I noticed, at least at that time, that what didn't happen that day for me was as much practice as I wanted. And I see it as when I practice for my body, spirit, for my body, I exert energy and do exercise. And I didn't have the space to do that. So I went to bed and I couldn't get to sleep, and I was tossing and turning, wondering why, what's wrong today? Why is this happening to me? And in reflection, I was like, I didn't practice as much as I needed to today in order for me at the end of the day to be spent. I still had this built up things, tension, energy, everything. So I learned my lesson of that, to practice maybe in bursts in the day. Like this morning we're talking about how, each day is quite different, and it's how we approach the day and practice where we can. Sometimes it looks like we have a full hour, sometimes we might have chunks of 10 minutes and stuff like that. So I'm working with that right now in my routine to kind of take day by day as it is and practice where I can, rather than stick to, I have to practice it has to look like this in order for me to practice, and then I don't get to practice when it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, that's right.
So it sets me up then.
Yep.
But that's what I notice of recent in physicalness. Physicality? Yes, that's the one.
Physicalness.
Yes.
We should start a new word.
But internally, I guess for me, in the routine of practicing and being present to myself and reflecting all the time, I've noticed in scenarios where I'm outside my comfort zone, I'm much more centered now than I am, than I have been if I was reflecting in those parts as well. Yeah. Like Bentley 360 with different kids each time, and with kids who trigger me a lot, and with kids who do really well in the group scenario, and because they're not our normal Jing mowers, there's that as well. But being comfortable with myself and being okay with that feeling, whatever pops up for me, and working through that quickly, to be present to the kids, to lead them to be having a good time and play through. And I know you said at the start how I'm really good with kids, and I hear that from others as well, but for me, I'm like, I'm not there yet for me. I'm still processing how to do that better, but clearly it's doing something for me. And I noticed even at the line dance workshop, we were going to unknown territory, the Chunghwa location in Balcatta. Their team's there. There was another team there. Lots of new faces. Stories of, am I good enough to be here, and stuff like that. And just, processing, reflecting, being comfortable. with that, even though it's really uncomfortable, and being open to it all. Whereas I feel like, in the past I'm quite closed and I just stick to my comfort zones and stick to my little circle and not absorb as much as I could. But I felt like I was pretty open-minded and taking on as much as I could because it was a great opportunity.
Oh, it was.
So that's what I noticed. Physicalnessly.
Physicality.
Yes.
Physicalnessly.
And internally, those two things. From my practice, I think, from routine, I'm able to notice these things a little bit more and process. I guess it's similar to yours, how in the Woolworths and processing sadness and stuff. It's all the same.
That's right.
How we approach things. But yeah.
But I mean, these things we're talking about, Piers, may not be like simple things to measure. I mean, simple things to measure would be like how many concrete roof tiles you can break with a gale tray in one strike. Yeah. You might start off with 1 and then gradually build up to 10, and then there's a real tangible measure. Yeah. And another would be gradings, belt levels. Yeah. Moving from black belt up to red belt. Yeah.
Learning the next part of the Yilu.
Yeah, next part of the Yilu.
New combo.
Or travelling overseas and entering into competitions. Yeah. All of these things are tangible measures, but I guess what I tend to notice more are the measures that are not physical, not tangible, but have a huge impact on me. Yep. And that's what I've been talking about.
Yeah. I guess for me, in training, a physical measure would be things like pad work or push hands or usages, things that happen in a short amount of time but require all of me to do the move. Like I'm noticing this morning when I was doing pad work, when I was doing LARP and pay together, noticing my shoulders would pop up because I wanted to add more power to my technique, and that was frustrating because I wanted to keep them down, but they kept popping up themselves. And
all by themselves.
And just like putting everything into one motion and having it feel effective, that's for me, that's measurable in that I feel satisfaction after. Same with push hands, we all do. Well, Piers does push hands, and sometimes you feel like you're doing good and you can bust out some moves and stay on your feet, and sometimes you fall a lot, and it's all kind of measurable in that one scenario on that day.
Yeah, it's not a statement about all of you.
No, it's for me it's not.
It's just that moment.
That moment. That's measurable, because then you can get back up, or do your next combo, having that in mind. Go, my shoulders are up, so I need to drop the shoulder now, and think about that. Or, all right, that time he put his leg behind me. That time I'm going to, open my quad more and make sure I'm more balanced this side, and then you might be, and then you stay back up or whatever. Yeah. All those little scenarios that you can work with. Yep. But I guess we kind of. Think we answered the question?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Cool. Well, on another note, I just want to thank all the listeners of the podcast. On the Anchor dashboard app, I can see the regions where people are listening and what devices and apps they're using.
Oh, really?
Stuff for that. Yeah.
Devices as well.
Yeah. So apps is 58% Spotify.
Right.
14% Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
8% other. Podcast Addict, 7%. I think that's all Piers. Podcast Addict. That's what Piers uses to listen to podcasts.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Anchor, 7%, and Castbox, 5%.
Castbox.
Yeah. So
they're the actual apps.
They're platforms.
Okay.
And then there's, iPhone, Android, web, and other stuff or devices that people listen on. That's cool. But I just want to thank everyone listening, because when we started, I was watching closely, trying not to get too attached to all the numbers and stuff like that. Statistics. But we started, only Australians were listening because immediate Jhung mowers or family and friends were listening. But now we have, out of 100% of geographic locations, Australia is 84%, United States is 13%, Canada is 1%, Spain 1%, Thailand, India, United Kingdom, and Hong Kong is 1% as well.
That's cool.
And within that, I can see countries or territories or whatever you want to call them within the states. States. That's the word. I was talking about countries anyway, wasn't it?
You were.
Yeah. So in the US, there's Virginia, Wisconsin, California, Pennsylvania, and Illinois.
Illinois,
Yes.
not Illinois.
Canada, Spain, Thailand, India, United Kingdom, and Hong Kong. They're all 1% and stuff like that. So,
Cool.
yeah, just want to thank you guys. It's really cool to see non-Australians listening because it's good. It's good.
Very cool.
All right, so I'll end with like a quote that I came up that I saw this week.
I thought you were going to say you came up with.
No. But this week we were on Monday on the public holiday.
Yes.
We were at a lion dancing workshop.
Yes.
Which was really cool.
Held
by Jhung.
Yep.
In line with KSK.
Kun Sen Kun.
Yep, Kun Sen Kun, which is a popular, famous lion dance troupe from Malaysia.
How many times have they won? Is it 17 or 11 years?
Lots.
Lots. 11 years. I think it was 11. 11 years.
They've been back to back many times.
Oh, yeah, world champions. Yeah, amazing.
Lion dancing. So you guys, if you've seen lion dancing before, it's the competition ones where they're jumping on those poles and doing those acrobatic moves. We were learning from one of the head coaches who was here in Perth. There was meant to be a 2-day workshop, Monday and Tuesday, but obviously Tuesday everyone would be going back to work, so they jammed it all into Monday. It was from 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
It's huge.
It was great. I turned out very sore and still feeling it today.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 45-minute break.
Yeah, out of all of that,
it was 45 minutes break for food.
And that was still not enough.
It was crazy. Yeah.
But it was awesome.
It was awesome.
What did you get from it?
I got a whole lot of satisfaction. Yeah. I came away being really grateful for our friends Cecilia and Robin in Hongdae in Melbourne.
Yeah.
For the support that they've given us and the training they've given us over the years, because that held us in good stead. Everyone all of our troop were well versed.
Yep.
And I think because they're in that position of already knowing the music, knowing the dancing, then they could really step up the skills that Puisen was sharing with us. And he spoke totally in Mandarin throughout the whole workshop. He had kind of interpreters giving their...
Did you say interpretations?
Interpretations. When interpreters were giving... Yeah.
I thought you said interpretations. Because they were Asian.
They were Asian.
They were Asian.
They weren't interpretations.
Okay.
That's really funny.
I thought you said that.
No, I didn't say that.
All right.
You need hearing aids, man.
I might do, considering the genes I got. Guys, if you're watching the podcast, you see these glasses. They're new. I now have to wear everyday glasses because of this guy.
Because he's got the dodgy genes.
They've got dodgy genes. My left eye's bung. So I might need hearing aids because we all know about your hearing.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Carry on.
So where was I? The interpretations.
You spoke only in Mandarin.
And our guys weren't handicapped by that at all.
Yeah.
Because they knew the music. They knew the musical notes. They knew the dancing, the style, all that stuff. It was fabulous. It was great. We made lots of new friends. I think there might even be an opportunity for us to collaborate on some shows with Zhonghua now. They're representatives in Australia for KSK. But it also inspired me to... I made it mean we're ready to move forward. So we'll do that, and maybe we can talk about that on another podcast.
Okay.
So let everyone hang now. There's some
cliffhanger,
some big news going on. Some big news. Did you ever watch that?
What?
Twilight Zone.
No.
So how do you know the music?
Because grew up with you doing it every so often.
Oh.
Got those genes as well.
What's that?
Sound effects.
Okay. For those who are only listening and not watching his face, it's hilarious.
Do you want to hear what I got from it?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it would. Come on, tell me, what'd you get for it?
Oh, I got lots more detail in the things that I already know.
Yes.
And little things like the line follows the gong beats.
Yes.
How to hold the cymbals in the Hokksan style to make those sound good. Clarified with the cross motions of the lion and the square, drawing a square and drawing triangles. I didn't quite get that because I was doing mainly the tail work when we were last learning in Melbourne with Hongda. Seeing Mitch was doing the head work. So that clarified that for me. And learning more of the music. Yeah. And the head movements of the lion as well. Yeah. Learning that more. But also realizing that the set that I learnt isn't the one and only set. Yeah. So they were playing a specific timeline of the music as well. And I think, I don't know if you got this as well, the music is there as like sets of music, lines of music, and then depending on the dance is what you use to express the lines. Yeah.
So you pick those pieces out.
That's
like
right.
A jigsaw puzzle to
build the story of one particular dance. Yeah. I didn't.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
So I didn't know that. So
you didn't know that?
That was cool. Because when they were explaining, when you're doing this section, you want to be like this, and the line's curiosity is like that, and I was like, So I got lots of detail. Cool. Looking forward to practicing and comparing notes with everyone. Yeah. And stepping up the game as well in our practice. Normally we set an hour, but we only do like 45, half an hour of line dancing. Yeah. So I think it's time for us to do more time. Yeah. And everyone to learn the music as well. Yeah. So that everyone knows that and follows that whilst they're doing the line dance.
It was a big day. Monday, public holiday.
It was a big day.
It's huge. I had a private lesson Monday morning. Oh. As well. So it was a massive day. Actually, when Tuesday came around, I didn't even feel like I had a long weekend. And when people were asking me, how was your long weekend? I said, oh, it was great. It was busy. And they said, did you get the rest? I said, no. How come? So then I gave the rundown, because we had Bentley 360 on Sunday as well. Yeah. Because it was, with all the storms last week, it was shifted to Sunday. So we had work Saturday, we had work Sunday, we had a huge workshop Monday night. Yep. And then back for crazy class Tuesday morning, open up at 5 a.m.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Very good.
Good stuff. Any more to say about the line dance workshop?
Nothing more to say about line dance workshop? Nope. I think it was really cool. But watch this space.
Which space?
This space.
Squarespace.
This space. The podcast space.
Oh.
Yeah, this space.
What are you watching?
For more news about... Huh?
What are you watching?
I'm inviting everyone to watch this space. That's a saying. A colloquial.
A colloquial. A colloquial. Ho 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 ho.
That... So just watch this space, because there's going to be more...
Just watch it, all right? Just watch the space.
More...
Listen to me.
More news on our developments with our line dancing.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've got one last thing.
Yes.
Of the podcast.
Yep.
That is a post from Ping Wei, Tai Chi brother of Practical Method.
Oh, in...
Phoenix,
Arizona.
Yes. I thought it was quite good. Obviously, he shared something and he put Tai Chi in the context. Yeah. But it's the thing says truth bombs.
Truth bombs.
Yep. And it's about priorities and how we set them.
Yeah.
We talk about daily practice, so let's get that in our mind.
Yes.
So there's some examples and then the good bits at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So it says healthy grocery shopping. $100. Mm-hmm. Some people might say it's too expensive.
Yeah.
A dinner date, $100. People say it's reasonable. Month's supplements, $100. Can't afford that. Night out drinking, $100 a week. Occurrence. You know, like some people drink every week, every weekend, and spend $100 or more. Yeah. But they don't. You get the point.
I get the point.
Yeah. Starting own business for $1,000. Right? I can't justify that. That's in the quote here. But buying an iPhone 11 Pro for $1,000 or more, we want that because that's the latest tech. 60 minutes at the gym. I wish I had the time. But 60 minutes watching Netflix, time flies, right? And then sometimes you watch another episode because you want to know what's happening. So that could be 2 hours of watching the screen. So it says everything in life is about priorities, and what you prioritize will decide what your life looks like. Yeah, where will you be in 5 years? So I thought that was quite interesting. How, a challenge is daily practice. Like I found this week, really hard to practice.
Yeah,
but it's true. Like I do watch some YouTube videos for longer than an hour sometimes, and I could be spending that time doing practice. But, it's about priorities for us all. And I thought that last one was quite good. 60 minutes at the gym, some people, or practicing. Wish I had the time. I'm really time poor. I got lots on. But, when we get home, we'll turn on the TV and sit there for ages.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So that question at the end, was that actually Ping's question?
No, that was part of the post. Quote. Yeah, part of the quote, part of the post. Everything in life is about priorities. What you prioritize will decide what your life looks like. Where will you be in 5 years? I think that's a good mind tease or whatever.
Yeah.
One of his students or practitioners said, a day without Tai Chi is like a day without sunshine.
That's cool. That's true. Like a day without sunshine. That's very true, actually. Excellent. That's cool.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Do you have anything more to say or add to this podcast?
I do.
Sir?
I do.
Yeah, good. Just say I do.
I do.
Don't need to say no, I don't, and then go, yeah, but there's one more.
Yes, I do. I've been thinking about this since last night, really, and today's Facebook Live, I'm actually going to address it, but here for our listeners, particularly in these times where our environment, our society, everyone around us is thinking one way. I'm talking about the coronavirus. So there's a mass energy that's all pointing in one direction, and that's pointing at fear and driving in one direction. And what ends up happening is we often we forget about, it's like, have you seen those documentaries on TV before with David Attenborough, and he's going around the plains of Africa, and there's all these gazelle that are down by the water, and he's following this one lion or one tiger that is slowly approaching. Anyway, so there's thousands of gazelle, but this lion, there's only one lion, and it's looking for the one gazelle it's going to get for dinner. Now, when the one gazelle works out there's a lion that's approaching, it takes off. It sends off this fear signal that it's not audible.
Yep.
It's not, he goes, lion, lion, right?
What kind of voice is that?
It's a gazelle voice.
I thought you said they don't do that. How do you know it's a gazelle voice? I thought you said it's a gazelle voice.
Yeah, so the gazelle.
Lion.
So it's not, I'm saying it's not not like the gazelle can actually say that. But it emits this energy out of its brain.
Like vibes.
It's danger. It goes into fear, extreme fear. And every other thousands of gazelle pick this up and they go, fear, and they run, right? They don't know what they're running from. They don't know which direction they should run to. They run in packs, right? And some of them trample on each other, and some of them run into each other, and some run straight into the lion, and, you know, all sorts of things. But they just go straight into fear. And last night when I was at the supermarket, that's what it reminded me of.
Mm.
It's like everybody's gone into fear mode and just panicking and following the masses. They don't think for themselves, right? And I might be triggering a whole lot of people here and saying something that might be quite upsetting too.
Mm.
But this is what I'm saying. This is normal. This is normal. I'm not making anybody wrong.
Yeah.
It is normal. Nobody is wrong. However, we have the ability as human beings to be present to ourselves, feel those really difficult moments, be present to those really, really hard feelings that we don't want to be present to. Feel them. And then make a conscious choice about what is the most loving action for me next. But not being influenced by others, not making decisions without having all the facts, not just following along what our friends and family are doing because we want to be part of the pack, but actually standing for ourselves and taking action based on what is the most loving thing for me right now.
Yeah.
How can I be most loving and supporting to me? Now, it might mean buy more toilet paper, but it might mean not.
Yep.
But we actually have to stand for ourselves. And the clarity for this comes through, in my experience, daily practice. We have to do the one thing that makes our heart sing, that brings us joy every day, so that we can stay present to ourselves and know what it is that brings us our joy and gives us clarity. And then we can take some action around it. I think for me, that's the message, really. That daily practice is about clarity and joy.
Mm.
Like a day without sunshine, it'd be terribly depressing. And I hear that from people who live in places where, you know, summer is a brief week or two, and the rest of the time it's cloudy and gloomy. It's not good for us as humans.
Mm.
We do need to practice an activity that brings us joy. And whether it is painting, music, calligraphy, art, walking, climbing, singing, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, whatever it happens to be. Now, we have a theory behind it. It's a 3-part theory. What constitutes a daily practice? It must theory, method, grind. It must have a clear theory. It must have a complex method, and then you must work at it every day. Hard work.
Yep.
So they're the 3 parts that make it a daily practice. So I encourage everybody. Daily practice. Do the one thing that makes your heart sing, that feeds your soul. You deserve it. You are a valuable human being. You deserve that time. When you give to yourself, you'll have more to give all of the people around you whom you love. And equally importantly, you'll be able to be very clear in these, particularly in these times when, you know, all the gazelle are running around and you're trying to find out what the hell, why is all the fear going on, but you're just running for the sake of running. Get some clarity so that we're not at the effect of the pandemonium that is starting to brew around the coronavirus.
Mm. Okay.
That's the message.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lion. Lion.
Lion. All right.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Cool. Thank you.
Goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Lion.
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 Lion. There's a fly thing around your head.
Fly thing.
See? Little
There.
wedgie thing.
Wedgie.
Wedgie.
I don't know a
Wedgie.
wedgie, man.
Wedgie.
Wedgie. Fly thing. Lion.
Didn't you like that gazelle voice?
Yeah, it's good.
Lion.
Lion.